Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Wednesday, November 8th. And there's the road making noise at me. Day 99. We're there, folks. We're on the cusp. And what do I have to tell you? There actually is news, right? Because they did do a part 2 competition yesterday. So I actually do have that. But other than that, I got virtually nothing. So we'll see how short this one is or how much I talk about other things. So, yesterday, house guests got up, and at about 9:30, they shut the feeds off because it was time for Jag and Bowie Jane to do part 2, because you may or may not remember that Matt won part 1 of the competition Sunday night / Monday early morning kind of a thing. So, which was shown on last night's TV show. I talk about last night's TV show, but I haven't watched it yet. We'll talk about why later, just because I was doing other things and I just didn't feel like trying to wrap my brain around it. And it's mostly a best of, which apparently some people gave good reviews. But let's carry on with talking about what's going on in the Big Brother house right now. So they did the competition. The feeds were down for about 6 hours. So they came back at about 3:30 Big Brother time. That is 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, which means I was done with work and home and already on to other things. So when they came back, it turned out that Jag had won part 2. Mostly you could tell because Bowie Jane was going around saying, "I'm a big fat loser." So that was the giveaway. Whatever the competition was, it was names and dates, I think, comps and dates kind of a thing, putting them in order. They've done that kind of a thing in time too before. Usually part 1 is a physical endurance kind of a competition. Part 2 is usually some kind of a names and dates things, which is why they all memorize all the dates the entire season, right? It's kind of for this one competition is the one where it really kind of has to come out. Although the before and after one, which they have done in the past at the Final Four, would be another one. But anyways, that's a time competition, so they had to run it individually, and apparently both of them took more than an hour to compete. So there's a huge chunk of time, and of course they have to reset in between each one. So it still seems like 6 hours is a bit excessive, but it did take longer than you might think with like a 20-minute competition. All right, so Jag is now won part 2, so that means Matt and Jag will face off tomorrow night in part 3, which will be a quiz, which almost always seems to go down to tiebreakers. We'll see if it does tomorrow. In which case, one of them, either Matt or Jag, is going to win part 3, and so Matt or Jag will get to pick who gets to go to the final, and I cannot tell you with 100% certainty that they are taking each other. My wife was out with friends last night and texted me because 2 of her friends are big Brother fans, big casual Big Brother fans, and they know, much to probably my wife's complaining, that I know what's going on in Big Brother. And she texted me and said, so-and-so's want to know who's going to win Big Brother. And I just texted back and said, I don't know. I said it should be Matt or Jag, but it kind of depends. I don't think it'll be Bowie Jane. I think it'll depend on if they both make it to the finals. And if they both make it to the finals, it'll depend on the jury and whether they respect comp wins or, quote, social game. If you feel that Matt has played a social game. I don't necessarily feel Matt's played a social game as much as he hasn't played as much of an antagonistic game as Jag by, going out and getting people out. So Matt's social game is really Jag's anti-social game, if that makes sense. So we'll have to see what happens. But that's tomorrow night. We got to talk about that tomorrow, right? As the build-up. But nothing's going to happen between now and then. It's just going to be I shouldn't say nothing. I mean, they are talking, and you're trying to get a sense, because Jag has final 2s with both Matt and Bowie Jane. So is he talking to both of them? Is he? What's Jag going to do? Is Jag going to try to win part 3? And then is he going to get to decide who goes with him? Or is he going to let Matt win part 3? And I say let win. It doesn't mean Matt won't win it outright. Is Matt going to win part 3, whether by Jag throwing it or by Matt actually winning it? And is Matt going to take Jag along? I don't know. Jag and Matt and Bowie Jane are definitely not as close as Jag and Bowie Jane. It doesn't mean that Jag's going to take Bowie Jane, right? Matt's kind of ace in the hole was kind of Suri, who obviously went because, Jag got the vote, right? So, in the end, Matt doesn't have Bowie Jane, or doesn't have Suri along because Matt or Suri didn't win head of household earlier last week, last Thursday. All right, so that's where we're at. There's going to be nothing today other than trying to suss out if Jag is going to be committed to Matt or Bowie Jane, and that again is it's just he's going to tell Bowie Jane what she wants to hear, and he's going to tell Matt what he wants to hear. They're all going to tell each other what they want to hear. Although I think yesterday Bowie Jane was pressing Jag a little bit, and Jag wasn't super committal, but. Again, I wouldn't read anything into that 2 days out from the actual show. So we're where we are, and let's just ride it out, and we'll talk again tomorrow about Big Brother, right? As I reach day 100. So what else is going on? For those of you that are only here about the Big Brother status, there you go. Wrap it up, head on out the door. I want to talk very briefly about other shows that I am watching, because it turned out last night, did I mention that I was already at home and already doing things? I'd already got home, and I'm like, all right, what's going on with these shows? And I had mentioned yesterday that I had started to watch very briefly Big Brother Australia, and saw that the premiere was 2 hours. Well, it turns out that my recording was wrong, and the premiere was only an hour. My recording was messed up, and so my computer had a wrong idea on time, and I got to 40 minutes into Big Brother Australia yesterday, and it just stopped. So I had to go get another copy, and it turned out it was only an hour. So the first episode was only an hour, but of course the second hour was also out yesterday. So I have watched the first 2 hours of Big Brother Australia. I managed to watch the regular episode of Big Brother UK last night, and I managed to watch Traders Canada last night. So I'm like reality'd out. That's why I didn't watch Big Brother USA last night when I could have late. I just no, I can't do it. I just got to go to bed. So just brief thoughts. It's interesting, because now I'm, like I said, watching 3 versions of Big Brother, and they're all 3 different. Because UK is very standard Big Brother. The competition, it was a food competition last night where they don't earn dollar amounts anymore. I mean, they do earn dollar amounts, but it's a fixed dollar amount. So there was, they got the extra plus budget. That's what they fight for, and then they get a basic budget. Those are kind of their 2 options. Either you get a little bit of money, or in theory, quote, a lot of money, where you can buy extras and suites and things like that, and things that will make the house less stressful. So they got, sorry, we're getting into traffic. They got the competition they had to do yesterday was a simulation of it was like there was some kind of hacking going on or breaking into the Big Brother house, and they'd set up a safe room in the middle of the Big Brother house, which was really a clear plexiglass room that they had to run into and sit in and face a certain direction where they could see a mirror. And then 2 of the house guests, by the way, they alternated. 2 house guests would be sent to a room as security guards, and they were sitting in the security room when the alarm would go off, and then they would be presented with the option where there was 2 different things. They could only keep 1 intruder out, right? And so they would pick between 2 people to be allowed access into the house. They could allow 1 person into the house. And what it was loved ones coming into the house. Actual physical loved ones walking into the house. And so the point was, the house guests were told you cannot turn, you have to sit facing this mirror, you cannot turn around, you cannot communicate with the people that come into the house. And so it's just a test of their strength when they've been in the house for this is week 5. So they're 5 weeks into Big Brother, and you have someone's mom walks in to the house and is standing directly behind them, separated by a plexiglass wall, and they're talking to them. But they're not supposed to turn around. They can look at them through the mirror, but they're not supposed to talk back or anything, or really not supposed to acknowledge them. They're supposed to just keep a straight face, although a couple of them were breaking down. So it's an emotional thing, and of course, 2 of the house guests at a time have to choose between 2 people to come in. So for every house guest gets to see a loved one, the other house guest doesn't and knows that they were there. Like, oh, well, your grandfather, and I'm making this up, your grandfather was here, but we decided to let the other person see their best buddy, their friend. Those are the kind of things that so it creates stress there. It creates stress for the person seeing it. It creates stress for the person that didn't get to see the person. Maybe there's problems of, well, why did you choose them? Because you like them better than me. All those kind of stuff. So it's an interesting little, social experiment, fun to watch kind of a show. So that was Big Brother UK last night. Meanwhile, I start watching Big Brother Australia, and I watched the first 2 hours. I watched Monday and Tuesday's show. You can tell, by the way, and those of you that don't know, it was actually taped last year or early this year. I think it was taped last year. It was supposed to come out earlier this year, and it never did. They went with a whole it was almost like Love Island in a house kind of a thing. So they were saying, oh, they're the most attractive couples, and we're going to see who hooks up with who. So it's definitely, and it was a flop because nobody really got that romantically involved. But now they got to make a show out of it, and that's what we heard. But they're going to edit it, however they edit it. I mean, it took them a year to edit the damn thing apparently, or they just couldn't decide when they were going to release it. But watching last night, yes, very heavy on the romance angle. It really is. It is definitely, they're couples. Who do you fancy? Who do you like? And it's more of Sonia asking them, who do you like? Who do you like? Who do you like? And it's like, geez, man, put them all on the spot. And they are all kind of put on the spot. And there is some minor romance so far. But again, it seems very forced. And it's not typical Big Brother. So this is, again, not spoilers here, but I know that at least some of you that listen to this are going to actually watch it, so I'm not going to tell you who or what, but at least, the initial thing is, so how are they playing this and still making it like Big Brother? Well, so they got him into the house. They did a similar thing to how they did it. I think it was U.S. I think it was Australia. See, now all of my lines blur. There was a season of Big Brother, either UK or Australia, where they were on a plane, where half the house was, quote, on a plane and arriving via plane, and they were just stuck in a room together for 24 hours. It was a bumpy ride. They had babies, and they had all kinds of discomforts. I think it was Australia, because it makes sense that they would do that again. And this time they got put on a train. So half the house got put on a train. As they entered the house, they had to choose a door. And unlike Big Brother, I think 14, I think it was not 14, Big Brother 9, I think it was, or 10, where they selected a key to go into a room, where I think that was all forced. This did seem truly random. They chose the right or the left door as pairs, and you knew which door was which, so they chose right on the spot. There wasn't any chance to manipulate keys to doors. So half the house ended up on a train, which was an uncomfortable, bumpy ride with all kinds of noise going on. And half the house ended up in the house. So that created a level of stress, right? What else? So they get him in, they do their get to know you. There's angles there of Sonia asking about, not Sonia, but the house guests, the relationships, the potential stuff going on. They do a competition eventually, a couple of different competitions, but the actual competition for power was done, and it was a limited competition. Not everybody got to participate. There was a way that was decided, which you just watch the show. I'm not gonna give away all the stuff, but the point is that they actually had a vote. They actually voted at the beginning. And they crowned a king and a queen, which they were not head of household, right? All they did was they got a private room for the night. So the king and the queen, or maybe for the week, I don't know. But the king and the queen, so they voted the most likely couple that had two people that had kind of hit it off and liked each other. That was how they determined that. And they got put in a room and they kissed a little bit and they claim that's all that happened. I don't know. I don't care. Again, it's very forced. They're forcing people together. But they had no power. So then they did a thing where they had power, where they had a competition, and the winner of that competition got to nominate 3 people for eviction. And that was it. I don't know how much time they gave them. I'm not sure if they did in the 1 hour kind of a thing before the vote or whatever. They tend to force things pretty high paced in Big Brother Australia. At least that's what they say. But they had the 3 people in the house, and honestly, I didn't finish watching it. Now that I think about it, so 3 people were nominated, and that's where I'm at because I didn't see the actual first eviction, so I'm not sure where it went from that. So I'm kind of not in the know yet either. I'm not going to tell you guys a play-by-play of Big Brother Australia. I'm just trying to give you a sense of the differences with Big Brother Australia versus like Big Brother UK, because Big Brother Australia definitely, they remodeled it after the US version where you have a head of household kind of thing, or someone makes nominations, but they nominate 3 people. There is no power of veto. There sometimes is an immunity given out to people. We'll get through it maybe if I talk about this again later, if I keep doing CarCasts, because once Big Brother US is over, I tend to be like, I can just stop talking to myself on my drives. So that's what's going on with Big Brother Australia. And then I watched, like I said, Traders Canada. Still doing good. Still a good show. Enjoying it. Worth the watch, in my opinion. A good season, and so you should check it out. That's what I will say about Big Brother, or about the Traders Canada. And again, that is out there on Daily Motion, although I am providing links to a copy on BigBrotherGossip.com. And I think that's about it, folks. I think tomorrow I will try to record my drive in, give my shout outs to my patrons, and we'll be wrapping this puppy up. I will talk about Big Brother finale sometime on Friday, but I am going to be not working on Friday. Actually, I have to drive to Michigan tomorrow, so I'm going to be watching the finale. We'll talk about this tomorrow. I'll be probably watching the finale in the car while we're driving to Michigan. That's how it's going to go for me, but that's what you have to do sometimes. So that's what I got. Happy Wednesday. We're flying. And that was a long one for me. Wow, 17 minutes. Enjoy. They're going to be done soon. Thanks again for your support, everybody. We'll talk to you all on Thursday. I have no updates about the holiday surprise. I haven't pestered my sources. I may pester them a little bit today just to see if I can get any kind of additional info before Julie reveals it. But I'm not expecting to hear much. But I will poke. Probably. We'll see. If my sources are listening, I hope I'm not annoying you. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.